Today's Parks and Recreation Month, so recognizing Parks and Recreation Month. So we're lucky to have the director of our fantastic Parks Department here to share some reflections with us. I'll just say that Parks and Recreation are really at the foundation of the quality of life that people enjoy in this county. And whether it's youth athletics and bringing families out for the chance to make memories and create opportunities for kids, or it's hiking with your friends, or some of the more unusual activities like riding horses or going out on a kayak. There's so many opportunities in Montgomery County, and we really provide all of those because that's the quality of life that we want people to have. And when you think about the big picture, what attracts people to want to live in Montgomery County and to stay here and to tell their friends, that this is a great place to live? What brings companies to want to locate here? It's the quality of life that we offer. And Parks and Rec are really at the core of that, having walkable communities with clean air and outdoor space and places to spend time with your family to live the best life. That's what Montgomery County is all about. So it's so relevant for us to commemorate Parks and Recreation Month. And we have two of the best people in the business here to help us in doing that. As I mentioned, Parks Director Mike Riley, and also our fantastic Director of the Recreation Department, Gabriel Albornoz. So I will first go to Mr. Riley.
Thank you so much, Council President Riemer. It really means a lot to have the Council recognize the relative importance and value of the park system to Montgomery County. And this Council not only recognizes it with proclamations and words, but they really do walk the walk because they recognize both parks and recreation through the budget process and the allocation of resources. Across the country, when you're in the park and recreation business, you tend to have a little chip on your shoulder when you compare the services you provide to other government services like education or public safety or social services. And sometimes you feel like park and recreation gets a lower tier, but not in Montgomery County. This council and the county executive have really backed the creation of great park and recreation programs in Montgomery County. The National Park and Recreation Agency branded the park and rec business across the country. They came up with three pillars, they call them. It's human health and wellness. I think everyone can appreciate that. We get people outdoors and exercising on our trails, at our ball fields, kids at our playgrounds. And then on the other side of human health and wellness, you have facilities like Brookside and our natural surface trails where people who want to get out and connect with nature for their own mental health can get out there. On social equity, pretty simple. Most of our parks are walkable and free for access for the playgrounds and the amenities. And then, of course, conservation is a main pillar of parks agencies. 75% of the land that the Parks Department holds in Montgomery County is held in conservation. The other 25% is developed for active recreation amenities. So those things are pretty obvious in our business. I just want to throw out two more that aren't always as obvious. One is education, which is a priority that makes any community great, and particularly in the area of environmental education. Having two teenagers who have grown up in the digital era, our focus is on getting kids outdoors and connecting them with nature to the greatest degree possible through our nature centers and our nature programs, which we're hoping to expand going forward. There's actually books being written about the subject. One is called Nature Deficit Disorder. The other's called Last Child in the Woods. And there's a lot of focus on getting kids outdoors and connecting with nature. So we have our next Rachel Carsons and our next environmentalists. And the last one I want to touch on is economic development. People don't often think of parks and recreation, but I love reading those real estate ads when people only have a few words to list the sale of probably their most valuable asset in life. You will constantly see proximate to Capitol Crescent Trail or abutting Rock Creek Park in those few words that place value on their properties in Montgomery County. So we may have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, but in this county we're recognized right in the top tier, right with public safety, right with education, and our other colleagues who compete for tax-supported resources. So just once again, I really want to thank the council and the county executive for supporting us constantly through the budget process. Sometimes it comes down to the wire, but we look under the couch cushions and find the money it takes to keep our great park system great. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Mike.
Good morning, good people. I hope everybody is doing well. Council President Riemer, I'm digging the facial hair. It's a good look. I want to thank the council for all of your support for so many years. You really understand and value the importance of this work. In the Department of Recreation, we work hard to support future generations, help support and guide vulnerable populations, and help support our older population as well, and enrich the quality of life of all generations here in Montgomery County. It's work that we take very seriously, and the summer months is an appropriate month to celebrate Parks and Recreation because it is our busiest time of year. This week alone, just in recreation, we will serve more than 30,000 children and youth through our camps, services, pools, and varieties of programs across the entire county. We work hard to make sure that those programs are accessible to everyone, and we look forward to continuing this very important work now and into the future. Thank you again for this remarkable honor. And it's also an honor to work for a county executive for the last 12 years who really understands the value of this work and has been able to expand the footprint of our Department of Recreation through quality program services and facilities across the entire county. Thank you again, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day and rest of the summer.
Thank you, Director Albernoz. Glad you're here. So I'll read the proclamation now. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this county and country, including Montgomery County, Maryland. And whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic diseases, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and natural recreation provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature, improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air, provide vegetative buffers, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas parks and recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of Montgomery County, and now therefore do we, Isaiah Leggett as County Executive and Hans Riemer as Council President, hereby proclaim July as National Parks and Recreation Month in Montgomery County. Thank you very much. Thanks for your work. Good to see you here. All right. Very good.